Good morning. Welcome to our final day, so sad, of kids camp. And we're going to start off today with Patrick, and I believe he's making buckwheat crepes. Yummy. Patrick?
Anyway, welcome everyone. So today we are going to go very, very French, and we're going to make crepes. So crepes are basically the French pizza. You can put whatever you want into a crepe, and it's like maybe the easiest recipe that you've ever seen in your life. So here's what is going to require you today. We have some buckwheat flour. Put that on the spotlight here. Buckwheat flour. We have salt, and we have water, right? So those three guys is all we need to make our crepes. So we're going to take a bowl. We're going to put some flour in there. You don't need to measure, don't worry about it. If you want to make a lot of crepes, you use a lot of flour. If you don't use a lot of flour. And we're going to add just a little bit of salt in there. Very complicated. We're going to take a whisk. And we're going to take some water. And we're going to add some water, a little bit at a time. There. There we go. Oops, making a mess. Right, make sure that you add enough water at the beginning so it doesn't lump. And then we're going to bring that up to kind of a very thin pancake batter, I would say, maybe even thinner. And if you add too much water, don't worry about it. Just start over in another bowl. Just add a little bit of flour in it and just pour that over it, and everything. There you go. Put that here, so you can put that if you want to spot like this one. You can see here. Look at that. Yes. This has to stay like this for a little bit. So it's going to wait a few minutes. And when we're doing that, we want the flour to expand and really like homogenize the whole thing. And during that time, I'm going to preheat my pan on a low level right here. I'm seeing the bowl. So we're going to preheat that pan during that time, and we're going to prepare the two versions of the crepes that we are going to do. I'm going to take a little bowl right here. And so we're going to make two different kind of crepes. We're going to make some savory one, and we're going to make some sweet one. So for the savory one right there today, I chose to use a little bit of oregano. Right. That's fresh oregano from our garden that I dried out. And then we're going to use, I feel like using a little garlic today, right? So it's nice to add garlic in a crepe like that because it's really going to like lift off if you want something that's nice and savory. So here's a little trick with garlic. Garlic needs to be activated, right? So there's all this compound in there that's making what garlic is. It kind of need to be like smashed around a little bit. So we're going to take our blade, or you can take a bowl if you're not comfortable. You can take a jar and just go ahead and smash it a little bit. So I didn't like smash it to the point that it explodes everywhere, but I just like smashed it so it kind of like cracked a little bit. And the second advantage to that is that then it's a lot easier to peel. Right? Once it's smashed, after that you can just remove the skin easy peasy like this. All right. I have a little bit of dark spots here I'm gonna remove. There you go. So same thing, the guy needs a little bit of time to activate itself. So we're going to be here for a minute. And as garnish, what we're going to put inside the crepe is, if you saw my class the other day, this is what I have left of the onion fondue. And then we will add a bit of avocado and this little guy that I just picked off right off the kale plant that we got right off the door. Up. Very nice stuff. And for the sweet one, well, it's even easier because the sweet one, the only thing you need to do is absolutely nothing. And you're not spotlighting the right thing.
I'm trying to answer a question. Can you please remind what's in the batter that you
the batter, the very complicated batter. You're still not showing the right thing. The very complicated batter is 3 ingredients. The first ingredient being buckwheat flour. Second ingredient being salt. And the third one being water. Like I said, very, very complicated recipe. All right, so you can see now, if you want to show the side here, you can see now the flour has kind of expanded and it changed texture a little bit and it's very, very smooth. Right? You're not getting it? Right, so you can see that it's become like almost glassy, right? It's like very smooth right now. There's like, you can see it kind of like stays together a little more. There's a little more of that bounce to it, right? So there you go, now we're all good with that. You can come back here. All right, so we're gonna do our garlic. There you go, our garlic here. So I smash it a little more this time. So now it's kind of like already chopped up. I'm not gonna use all of that, it's gonna be a little much. So yeah, I'm gonna take half of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and chop it nice and fine.
Split screen.
That doesn't work on mobile. You gotta remove one of the spotlight because on mobile the only thing you see is me. Go. So this is nice and chopped up. I'm gonna add that to my bowl for the savory one. All right, and I'm gonna add a teeny bit of black pepper. All right, really like adding a little bit of black pepper into savory crepes. That really like lifts it up. And salt, and then we can take half of our butter here. And we're gonna mix those ingredients in this. Here we go. So same thing, visual patience is good. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna let that be for a minute or two, and then we're gonna stir it again, mix it again. All right, so all the flavors kind of like mix together, and we have a nice, nice homogeneous taste all the way through here. It's gonna stay there. So the sweet one, we can sweeten it or not. Today I will sweeten it a little bit, just because why not? And I'm gonna use a teeny bit of coconut nectar. Right. I'm gonna use this funny whisk. It's kind of ironic to have a cow whisk when you're making chef. That's why it's fun. An egg whisk also. You know, so there we go. I have a nice golden color here. And we are gonna get to the stove. Nice. All right. So I'm gonna put our hand over the pan and make sure that we got the right temperature. So it shouldn't be too hot because you don't want to burn it either, right? Don't want to burn it either, so it shouldn't be too hot. And then I got some sesame oil here. So I brush my pan. And you want to see, I don't know if we can see it really on the screen, but I have a tiny bit of that white smoke coming out of it. All right. Then I'm going to use, when I hold my pan, so always use a towel, especially for those cast iron pan. Very, very hard. I'm going to use my tiny ladle. And I'm going to pour it in the center, and I kind of gonna rotate it around. Go slightly too small of a little. So I recommend, by the time you get used to it, make some smaller one, right? Make some small one. You really don't care about the way they look because you're gonna fold them anyway. So it doesn't matter. So this is our sweet one here. Very nice and fun. So then you're gonna need a flat spatula of some kind, right? So this is literally a crepe spatula. It's literally what those guys are made for. So when the crepe is ready to be flipped, the side here, you can see there's some little bubbles here going on. And you can see the center here is nice and lacy. Should have started with slightly hotter over the pan. And also, by the way, what usually happens is the first crepe you make of the day, it's not going to work. That's usually the way it works with the cast iron pan. And since I was an apprentice, literally, and I've made like thousands of crepes, since I was an apprentice, we always learn like the first crepe, you don't even serve it because it never works out properly. My pan here is nice and well seasoned, so it should work totally fine. Here we go. Okay, get that little gap here. And so you can see that nice little color right there. Very easy to do. All right.
You lift the pan up. So
I was just going to do that. Here we go. Ooh, there we go.
the steam isn't letting it focus very easily, but we can
it's so
see
hot, so we can see right there. Like, so we have that nice little brown color. We'll see it better when I put it back right here. Go. So you can let them cook as much as you want. Some people like the crepe very soft. Some people like them a little crunchy. I like them kind of in the middle, right? And it also depends what you want to do with it. Like the next one, we're gonna do the savory one. You kind of want to let it like cook a little longer and become a little crispy. But for those guys here, we don't need to. Apply. So I'm just gonna take that off away here. I'll reduce my flame under there. When you're not cooking crepes, just think about bringing down your flame. Go. Can spotlight back in there. All right, so I'm going to take my crepe and I'm going to prepare a little thing for it. There we go. What we're going to do here. I already have this. I have this ready, look at me. So, any type of nut butter, right? Ideally, you want to use hazelnuts. It's kind of going to be like kind of a Nutella a little bit, but right there I have peanut. That works too. I'm going to add teeny bit. Whoops. Little chunk here of matcha powder, right? Matcha powder right there, and I'm gonna add. This one's not open. A little bit of cacao powder. Okay. Good time of the year to use cacao. All right, here we go right there. Yes, same thing. Yep, oh, the other way. Cacao powder. There we go. You can see those guys right there. And I'm gonna add teeny drops of sweetener in there. So you can use different sweetener. I personally like brown rice syrup and coconut sugar the most. Marimol tends to exacerbate many people, so I haven't been using that much of it lately. Oh, and so here we don't need to add fat, right? Even though it's a sauce, we don't need to add fat because we have the nut butter. So the trick is don't add too much water at the beginning and make sure it's like very well mixed first before you add more water to where you want it, right? Because otherwise it's not gonna tend not to mix very well. Oops, trying to escape. All right, a little bit of water again. Usually what happens is it all goes in the whisk. So to take it out of the whisk, you take the handle of the spoon and you do this. There you go. Little trick, otherwise you have to put your fingers in there. There you go, we're just gonna mix that up. So you can serve that topping, that sauce. You can totally heat it up if you wanna do that. All right, it's gonna work very well. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna make it like not too thin. I still want it to have some structure. So always add your water a little bit at a time because it's easy to add some, but it's not very easy to remove any. So here we go. Take my spoon here. And I'm gonna put that in the crepe. Okay, you want to kind of like hold it around nice everywhere, right? So you have an even distribution of your filling right there. Up. And then we can go ahead and just, so traditionally this is what they're eaten like, right? They're eaten rolled, right? Because it's awesome and you can just grab it and leave it with you and eat it like that, right? So traditionally, crepes are made like this. That's how I learned how to make it. I put that right there so you guys can see it a little better. Good. This, and we're gonna do our celery crepe. Celery crepe. So, you know, like this kind of thing, by the way, all of that, I can also go very well. Oh no, I'm forgetting one part. Here we go. We're gonna come back here, and we're gonna add a little bit on it right there. So if you want it like with a fork and a knife, it's very awesome. You can do this. Well, now you can, obviously you can't grab it in your hand anymore. So that's kind of like more of a sit-down version, right? Kind of a sit-down version here, but here we go. Now you have a nice crepe like that. And then you can like, you know, it's easy to goof around when you have something like that. And you kind of like follow up on what Nancy was saying on the photography class, right? So here I have a nice focal point here. We're gonna put a little more nuts here. All right, like that. We bring all that together, and then we can take, by example, our sauce here, and we can do like a little whoop going on this way. And then we can make one that goes on that way, by example, right? So something can be as easy as that to present something. You know, you have a cool color plate, you put like a couple different things on it, and there you go. You have a nice plate. So we're gonna go back to the stove, and we're gonna do our savory crepe. So as you can see, I am not cleaning my pan in any way in between uses. Can you show the donuts, please? And there you go. So I am not cleaning my pan, right? The only thing you have to do with those guys, don't wash them. You know, anything you have to do is just rub them with, if they get very dirty, you just use some coarse sea salt and you just rub it when it's hot. You know, it's like a towel in your hand. And here, so you know, if you can see here, again, that little bit of white smoke going on. Go, move that out of the way. All right, so here we have our other batter, which is garlic and oregano and salt. So here again, I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna go ahead and prep. So you can see right away, the point is not to try to make something that's too thick. You know, we want that lace going on, those bubbles of air, those holes going on there. That's really is like proof of a nicely made crepe. If you go, most of the time you see crepe and there's no holes in it because they put eggs in it, which, by the way, is not a crepe at that point. It's a very, very thin pancake. Because crepes, and the same title as pizza is for the Italian, crepes are the food of the poor, right? So they didn't have eggs. The eggs were for like the kings and the rich and things like that, but they had buckwheat and they had salt, so they made crepes. You know, it's awesome. So most of those you know, great culinary inventions come from really austere, very dark times. And that's what gives us hope for times like those days where, you know, a lot of good things are going to come up of all that big mess. There we go. So you can see I have a very nice lace here, but I'm not trying to cook it too much at first. Here we go. Can we see? So mango, there's almost too much light to see properly. I'm gonna see it better when I get the front. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is while it's in the pan, I'm gonna add some of my onion fondue here, so I can be able to warm it up, right? A little more because that's very good. So it smells so good. I wish you were here so you could try this. And then what you're gonna do is, you can see just the center is filled. So I'm gonna do this. Oops, stay there. And this. And this, and this. There you go. So this is a traditional square celery crepe. All right. You often find that in like fairs and everywhere. I mean, it's really a street food. Even like this, you know, it's very easy to like put on a small plate and take with us anywhere we want to go. So can I have another, please? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Sure.
I forgot one plate. All right, so it just has to cook gently like that. And then, you know, like sometimes you see if they put an egg in a crepe, that's where it's gonna go. It's kind of like gonna cook in there. I don't recommend it. It makes like the crepe very heavy, I find, you know. Those things are all about lightness. Oh, we went back to the other camera.
Back to the stove.
Yeah, well, no, actually, you can put like directly the front mode. That's fine. I'm gonna switch it out anyway. All right, our crepe's ready. Ta-da! You can see it's very quick, very, very quick to make crepes. And it's great because if you have a bunch of like tiny stuff left over, you can make a crepe. It's awesome. So you can have literally like leftover from the last 3 meals, and put it all together, make a crepe, add to that a little salad, and then, you know, like, let's liven it up, you know, so like this already is delicious. Let's liven it up and make it like a little more balanced. What we're gonna do here, let's add a little power into that. Whoops.
And we have a question.
Yes.
Zomo is asking what went into the sweet crepe cacao plus what?
So I use the nut butter, I use cacao, and I use, where do you put it? I use maca powder, right? Maca is it's a superfood. It's very great to give you energy. I love maca, that really is very good for helping control hormones and stuff like that. Really good for, you know, if you have trouble like jolting in the morning or something like that. Good for working out. Really like help you keep balance and keep sweating in the right way. I love maca. And also a tiny bit of the coconut nectar. Again, it's not necessarily needed. I just added a drop, you know, kind of thing. But you don't have to have it, you know, as usual, like whatever I do. Really, on this one, really, the only recipe you have is buckwheat and salt. That's all it takes. The rest is kind of like up to you. And it's fun, you know, you can do whatever you want with it. Here we go. I take some avocado there. Whatever. I'm going to take my freshly picked kale. Go. Like this. And here we go. I have a cool crepe. Ta-da. It's going to go very well with a bit of sesame seeds, actually. Up there. So, here we go. All right, so those are our crepes. So, you can do it, as I said, Italy, whatever you want with this. This is your pizza. This is your burrito. This is what crepes are to French people. So they're very, very simple dishes. Fun with it is great. Like when the kids were little, that's like, I think that's always the first thing that we did together. I think we have crepes. That or greens. I don't remember. But like, you know, it's very easy to bring the kids into the kitchen and have this kind of stuff. It's fun. Keep them involved in the whole process, and keep them close to you, keep them in the kitchen, and, you know, really cool stuff also to just teach people and show them how easy it is to cook, right? Very fun. If you can put the front on spotlight. Very easy to make some food like that. That's fun. That's nutritious. That's cheap too. Oh, because buckwheat and water and salt don't cost anything, right? So do we have a question?
Can you explain how just to make buckwheat flour real easily in
your okay.
blender?
So I do have the chance to have a flour mill myself. I have a crank one. It's very cool. I bought it online for like $30 like years ago. It works very well. It's like those two little stones. That works. I will in the next cooking class, I will put the link to what it is. And you can also do that if you have just a blender. Right, so if you have a Vitamix, especially you want something that has inside blended Vitamix, something that has enough punch, like a bullet or something like that, won't kill it. I'm sorry. And you can just do a little bit at a time. The trick is like, don't try to put like a whole cup of buckwheat at once and flip it, because it will grind it, but it's going to heat it up so much by the time that you process all that, it's going to lose a lot of these properties. So what you want to do is you want to put like quarter cup at a time, and just go ahead and start kind of slow, increase the speed really fast, and in a few seconds you will have flour. And then pass it through like a little mesh strainer or something like that. Make sure you have no husk left or anything like that. Anything else? Nope, and that is it. All right, then we're gonna thank you for coming to crepe class. And I hope you make a ton of crepes and send us the picture of your crepes and picture of your great crepes and things like that. Anyway, have fun with Cybal now that's gonna make dioramas today. Cybal, it's yours.
Okay, I'm just giving anyone the opportunity real quick. If they have any question for Patrick or anything, you can take yourself off of mute, *6 for a second, or put a question in the chat. You've got some thank yous. That was fun. And I think we're good here.
All right.
I'm going
Bye,
to
everybody.
remove Patrick from the spotlight and turn this over to Cybal. Why am I having trouble driving right now? Okay. Here we go. There we go. There's Cybal.
Unmuted. Okay. I did unmute. Let me say.
Yep, you're
Yes.
unmuted. You're good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Patrick. Oh my God, I am so hungry now. Why? Next time I think I'm gonna have to reverse it so I do art first because I'm afraid you're gonna hear my stomach rumbling. Anyway, today we're gonna make dioramas. Now, this is a fun thing because for me, it's all about recycling. I love to recycle, and this is a big recycle project. I did have some really nice shoe boxes we were going to use, but they got used for something else. So I just happened to find some really cool little old boxes that were a different shape. And I went ahead and already put some paint in it. Well, not me personally, but I had help from Natalie, who's not here today. And we just went through the house and pulled some bits and pieces of things, some of the crafts that we did this week, like she painted this shell earlier, and she had done some other painting. We went through and just grabbed some old stickers that we had lying around the house. And of course, one of our bookmarks can be used as a carpet. And she had some old paper dolls. And this one here is now COVID compliant. She's got her little face mask on. And we're just gonna put some of this stuff together and make a little fun craft. And like I said, you can just go and pick up, we had some, one of her little Barbie dolls had glasses that broke. I said, well, let's save them. We can put them on one of the paper dolls. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with that. Things you want on hand: glue, tape, scissors, and anything you find that you think would be fun to put in a diorama. Doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason. It can be fantasy. It can be something that's more real life, like she's got some big glasses now. We're going to take this, and I think we're going to make this kind of like a fun picnic type of a thing, or going to the park theme. So we're going to add, I had some of these old foam Christmas trees, and we're going to put some of these just to be like trees. And we'll pop some of these in here. So these are far off in the distance. We got a lot, so we're going to put a lot of trees. A lot of trees in our little forest back here on this side. Okay. I think we're going to make a little swing. So I just took a piece of cardboard and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to take my markers here and I'm going to make this like a swing so that it would come, and maybe we can get one of our dolls to sit on it later. The fun thing about this is anyone can do this with anything. You don't really need to have a certain thing. Like you don't have to go to the store and buy something special. You can just take stuff that you have lying around. And that's what makes it so much fun for the kids, because they can go through stuff like if they have anything that's broken but was their favorite thing. And I'm going to show that. I have one of the dioramas that we did earlier, and there was a squishy that we really liked. It was a little princess squishy, and it broke in half. So we had to, we were going to throw it away. And I said, you know what, let's wait a minute. I think we can use that for our diorama. And now it's not being thrown away, but it's being repurposed. And it has a new fun spot in Natalie's collection of toys. All right, so just really quickly, we're gonna do that. And I had some scraps of yarn. So we're gonna take this, and just to save time, we're gonna tape it down. Where'd I put my tape? Here we go. Because if I glue it, it might take a little bit longer to dry. So we'll just tape this down. For one strap, a piece of tape. All right, let's get another piece.
You go in the blender, Lee.
Okay. Now, you can either just tape this to your diorama, or I poked a couple little holes, and let's see if I can get these through here to make our swing. Poke it through. Get a little bobby pin here that I can push this through. So our swing can actually swing.
So did you use like a shoe box or something to start with, or did you build the box for your diorama?
No. I had a shoe box set aside, but it got used for something else, or just it disappeared out of my garage. So I think it got used for something. So I actually found this box it had some of my other art supplies in it. So I thought, oh, this will work.
I like the shape of it.
That's one of the things that I did too. I like the shape. So now we're going to take this. Now you could do little knots to have it come down, but we're just, to save time today, we're just going to tape that down. And let's get that. Let's try to get it a little bit even, so the swing doesn't, have one side. I'll chop that off.
You don't want anybody falling off the swing.
So far we've got the swing going on. Well, now we need people for our swing. So I'm going to take our little COVID compliant little girl, and I'm going to glue her in to the swing set. Go. Just gonna hang on. So far we've got our little girl in the swing set. And I think we're gonna put a little chair. This is gonna be a chair. Our shell's gonna be like a little chair. Now, I happen to have some of these little, they're like a two-way stick for putting posters up on the walls. I had a bunch of them. So I've been using these. I can use this because this is gonna be a little harder to glue because it's kind of heavy, but this will keep it in its place. Okay, so we got that in there. So it's going to be staying in there. Next, I think we need a little table. So instead of just having plain, I'm going to put a tablecloth on it. And this is just some old contact paper. And I'm going to snip the edge off of that. And put a tablecloth on our table. This is my favorite thing about contact paper. If you cut it in the wrong place, you never get it peeled off again. Ah, success. All right, so this is going to be our table going this way.
So you're making a tabletop out of that?
You know, little table. It's like a little picnic table. But first we need to put our rug in. Because, you know, you always have a little rug, right? When you go on a picnic, you put a little rug. So
that looks a little bit like the bookmark that we made earlier in the week. It's now a rug too. I like that idea.
Is now a rug. See, it's all about recycling. This might be a little too big, so I'm going to cut it down a little. There's not a whole lot of space in this box, but we're trying. Okay, now to make this stay in there, I'm just going to fold the edge down so it has something that I can glue it down to the rug. I can either glue it or tape it. But we have the glue here, so we're going to do that. So I gave it a little edge, so that way it'll have something that it can actually stick to or stay on. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. So we're going to go ahead and attach this. And there's our picnic table. So we have our little picnic table in there. We're going to add a little doggy's going to come to the park too. So we're going to put a little glue on this little guy and just plop him in here. Now, yesterday when we did our Play-Doh, I made a little teeny thing of grapes. So we're going to put some grapes on a plate. I have a little piece of just a round disc, and we'll put the plate on the table. A little glue here.
So we could pretty much take any size box, and if it's like too big, just cut it down so we have a back and the 4 sides and make a diorama with.
Don't even need 4 sides. This is a 3-sided box.
That's true.
Very, very small, but you can do it in any size.
So if you don't have a shoe box, you can make your own box or downsize a Amazon box or something.
A little teeny one, and she's on her swing. Oops, I just knocked over my shell. I didn't stick that in there very good, did I? There it goes. But we've got the little shell that keeps tipping over because it's, there it goes. I have it glued the wrong side. Like a little, it can either be a cave or a little chair. We have the doggy, we have our little rug, our table with some fruit, but before she starts to have her picnic, she's gonna go ahead and have a swing.
That is super cute.
I did another one, well actually I didn't, Natalie helped me with this one, and like I said, we kind of took some of the things that we made this week. Oops, that off. This was one of the things she did with the painting. Of course, this was our pirate ship. This is one of the clay things we made. It's a flower. And then we put some stickers in here, and there's some stars and more trees. And this is that little princess that she didn't want to get rid of because it broke, but we repurposed it. So little things like that. You never know when you can, if the kids don't want to get rid of it, have them make a diorama. Eventually they will get tired of it, but it makes a nice little art project that they can put out and show everybody and share with the family. And right now, that's something that's really special, that they can do something that's going to make them, feel like they've accomplished something, and we're able to do it inside and be safe. Any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat, but if anyone has anyone, or if they want to unmute yourself and ask a question, that's good too, or just say hi. But that's fabulous, Cybal. That's a great idea. I always loved, when I was little, making dioramas, and I actually, even right now as an adult, feel inspired because I have some different things like, little tchotchkes and stuff that I'm like, you know what, that almost be kind of fun to put together a diorama with and just do like little photos and stuff with, for posting, and have some fun with recycling and reusing things. I love the sunglasses on the middle one.
That these little dolls, the next time Natalie comes over, because she's at home right now, I can't take any of this and put it away because she's going to want to play house with this. I know she's going to want to play with this now. So.
This is great. Thank you so much for sharing. And we have thank yous in the chat. And thank you, Cybal, for all the different days we have now. This is our final day of the conference, and I love how all your art projects came together here. This is really a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jeannie, and I'm looking forward to next year when we can all be together, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Cybal.
Good day.